My Little Pony, Season 9, Episode 21. Daring Doubt. Yeah, they retconned the snot out of Aoi's Odal, didn't they?
Yeah.
Uh,
It's like,
I guess
I
they're
would
trying to
destroy the
tell
world!
it,
1,000
but
years of blistering heat! I'm the guard. Like,
But
yes,
I
they've
mean,
talked about this before, why he's there. He's said his motivation before. If he hadn't ever really said his motivation, this would have been freaking brilliant. I would
yeah.
have loved this as a. It's still, if you ignore the retcon, it's actually kind of funny, and it actually works really well. If they hadn't already said what
I
his
mean,
motivation was.
it was a bit on the predictable side, but what one isn't
Yeah,
at this point.
I
But
still find it
It
funny. I still like the.
it was amusing, and I
Yeah.
liked how it tied. It closed this thing so that
It actually made all the Daring Do episodes are
it gave it a
better
nice little bow.
if you remove all the stuff beforehand and just focus on the retcon. Like anytime he says anything about his motivation, you just strip that out of it, you know,
Yeah.
and just it does make the Daring Do episodes better. Um, because then the whole thing is just one gigantic misunderstanding. It's like, no, he's the guard. He's supposed to be stopping you from getting the treasure, and that was his whole shtick. That was the whole reason he was chasing you or giving you a hard time, was because you were taking stuff, and he's not supposed to let you do that. And it's like, okay, well then he's infinitely understandable. In that case, the only one that's bad is
Kev-
Cabaleron, and that
Yeah.
he's the only bad guy in the situation. Like
You
Daring Do,
know,
she's
I
trying to
think
protect the artifacts. Cabaleron's
I,
trying to steal them to sell them.
I think Fluttershy's new occupation should be listed as
gullible.
no, as Reformation professor or something. She's she's the one who converts all the bad guys.
She is.
She takes the she kills them with kindness, literally.
Well, not quite literally. She doesn't. She
It's
doesn't
like,
feed them full of cupcakes or something until they die of diabetes. It's like,
no, that's Pinkie Pie's job.
but well, it helps that she's one of those characters that it like the cartoon rules. She plays by the cartoon rules very well. You can't really harm her because she's too pure and nice. I always like going back to that Animaniacs episode where, you know, why don't they just bash her over the head with a mallet? Well, that's not how cartoon rules work. She has to do something to antagonize us. Right now, all she's done is be unrelentingly nice, so we can't actually do anything to her. It's like, if it was Scratch and Sniff, he's rude or he's antagonistic, then we can do what we want. But she's just nice, so we can't do anything. They had to hire Slappy because she doesn't run on those rules. She's just a cantankerous squirrel that'll do it anyway.
Her name is Slappy.
What?
Her name is Slappy for
Slappy.
a reason.
Yeah.
Because she's not afraid to slap people.
Yeah. But yeah, she's kind of got that rule of funny protection. You can't really hurt her because she's too sweet. So the universe just conspires to protect her. It's like, you cannot hurt
I
her.
swear, if Fluttershy ever decided to become a villain, the world is doomed.
Well, see, then she would stop being nice. She would have to stop being nice to be a villain. And so
Yeah, but look at
then she would
Cozy
be
Glow.
antagonizing enough that you could do something with you would no longer be protected by this sort of shield of funny. But
Yeah, but Cozy Glow is nice-ish.
no, she's not. Like
She was manipulatively nice. She was
Fluttershy
nice.
is kind
She
to
was.
her core. She has no she doesn't have an ounce of meanness in her. She gets angry, but generally for a good reason. And generally because somebody is not being kind.
Have you guys seen Disenchantment?
Nope.
I'm like 3 episodes behind on the first season.
Uh, well, then you know who Elfo is then.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like Elfo. He tries to be mean and tries to be nasty, and it just comes off sounding like Fluttershy trying to be mean and nasty.
Hmm.
It's like, you big mean jerk. I'm sorry. That was very mean of me.
I once tried it in high school. I had a habit of I was never really angry. I was like and so like people didn't had never really seen me angry. And so they were like, try and be angry, and people laughed at me when I tried to be angry.
No, see, nobody's seen me angry because I don't leave any witnesses.
Oh no.
No, he just turns green. Wait, no, that would imply he's intelligent. Never mind.
Hey,
Um,
Well, some people that aren't quite as intelligent have become Hulk, so
yeah.
I don't know the comics, so I don't know that.
but
All I know is the
though She-Hulk was like a lawyer or something.
yeah, she's a lawyer. So
Yeah,
I
like
do know
Bannon was a was a
that.
scientist, was a researcher, and she's a I think lawyer, maybe paralegal. I
No,
don't
she's a
remember.
lawyer.
She's a
She's a
lawyer,
lawyer.
fully. I know she was in the legal profession.
Yeah, Jen is a lawyer. I learned that from role play because I interact with one of them. But yeah, so when I was in school, I did not talk much. I was very soft spoken, mostly because I didn't give a crap about what was going on around me. I was always had my head in a book or always off in La La Land, whatever. So whenever I did speak up, people listened. There was one time my PE teacher was trying to get everyone's attention. Everybody was yapping, being annoying. I just I stood up and it was like, "Shut up!" And first of all, it was in the gymnasium, so it echoed. Everybody, even the other people on the other side of the gym who were doing their own thing, just stopped and looked at me and gestured to my teacher. I'm like, go ahead. And then I sat back down. And everybody was, even the teacher was silent for a minute, like, wait, what just happened?
But anyway, so
Sounding like pissed off bitch to, okay, go ahead. I'm going back to La La Land.
all right. So getting back to the story proper. So new Daring Do book is out, but not by yearling. Fluttershy includes it in the list of Daring Do books, but Dash points out it isn't by yearling. How did she not notice the different author having read it?
Well, I mean, sometimes you don't pay attention to the author. You're just looking more at the
Well, if you've read it, you've looked at the cover 1,000 times. You just well, you're.
no, not if you read it in one go.
I still think you'd notice it at some point,
I
especially
can
when you know the author.
I could
Yeah.
tell you plenty of books that I don't remember the author's name. I don't know who the author was.
But you just
And I could tell you plenty of books I remember the author's name, but not the book series.
She just read it and she knows the
Yeah.
author. So I mean, if it didn't say A.K. Yearling, she wouldn't. It would like, that's weird. Like you know the author. Anyway, but seems to be a smear piece from Caballeron's perspective, and the book goes far to claim she kicks puppies. If the
That was
disgruntled
only
readers
once.
are to be believed, it was only once and it was on accident.
Who hasn't kicked a puppy by accident? I mean, come on.
I
Yeah,
don't
by
think I
accident.
have.
I mean, I admittedly did kind of kick one, only to get it off my leg that I was humping. Yeah, it was a beagle.
But anyway. So the author is having a signing across the street, and he's suspiciously similar looking to Caballeron. I mean, it was very transparent. It was Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny level of disguise.
I think that was the point, though.
Yeah, that's the point, so that young watchers like can go, ha ha! I see who that is. I know who that is.
That, but just like to show he's not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed.
The thing is, you kind of can't do that because A.K. Yearling is daring do, and she goes out all the time. I mean, she just wears a big cape and a hat and glasses. That's her.
Hey, I
She
mean,
kind of goes by the Superman rule. The universe
yeah,
kind of runs
she
on
puts
Superman
more
rules.
detail than Superman does. Superman just puts on glasses and, hey, I'm Clark Kent now.
Clark, where
Like
did
that
Superman go?
Clark New Adventures of Superman episode with Tempest. It's like puts on the glasses. I'm Clark Kent. Pulls them off. I'm Superman. Clark Kent,
Uh,
Superman. Clark Kent, Superman.
there was this funny thing. It's like one villain. I forget the villain was like talking to Lex Luthor and says, "I found out who Superman is. He's Clark Kent. Can you attack him?" He's like, "Yeah, we all knew that. What, you think he's even less bulletproof?"
When he's Clark Kent, like
Yeah,
he's not less bulletproof when he's Clark Kent. It's
yeah. I mean, come on.
like at this point we've all kind of resigned ourselves to the fact that like okay, he's going to be Clark Kent most of the time, then he's Superman. We deal with him when he's Superman because when he's Clark Kent, he can't hurt us. At least for
Yeah,
part of the time, because if he becomes Superman all the time, then he can attack us whenever he likes. But if he's Clark Kent some of the time, he has to go through all the trouble of changing, and that gives us a few extra seconds.
yeah,
So it's best if either he believes or we act like we don't know. Act like
yeah.
we don't know, or he
Just
believes we don't know. It's better on everybody.
just get rid of all the phone booths and you're good.
There's still bathrooms, and as fast
Yeah,
as he would go,
he's in the bathroom plenty of times.
I'm like,
yeah,
yeah. Superman should use the porta potty to change.
or
Happened.
any small enclosed space, he finds a broom closet and changes in there.
Yeah.
It
There
doesn't.
was
It wouldn't.
one time when he went through a revolving door. He went one way as Clark Kent, spun around really fast, and came out the other side as Superman.
God, I wonder if could do a costume change faster, the Flash or Superman.
Oh God, now I'm just picturing them like, quick change. On your mark, get set. Dude, it's quick change, not get undressed.
Well, and well, and since the Flash keeps his suit and his ring, he basically just fastest man alive. It's the same sort of race around the world sort of thing. Who is faster? And we don't know really.
Yeah, but if they do go too fast, they end up going back in time.
Yeah, that
uh,
happens occasionally.
should go back in time and stop that movie.
Which one?
Yeah. I mean, that's a classic, and it's still better than Man of Steel.
Yeah,
Man of Steel and the other one, Batman versus Superman, were atrocious. So
Yeah, they haven't really, like, their Batmans have been good, but they're just, they haven't quite nailed how to do a Superman movie.
I mean,
Or a Batman versus Superman movie.
Superman movie. Because if you said they haven't quite nailed Superman yet, I would have said, ask Lois Lane about that one. Or Wonder
Yeah,
Woman.
that's why I paused and went, a Superman movie. um, anyway, going away from quick change disguises tangent we went on. So Cabalon tries to sell Fluttershy a sob story of an archaeologist who only sold the artifacts to the highest bidder because his museum shut down due to Daring Do beating him at every turn. He preys upon her good nature and sells her sob story to manipulate her. But she still joins his expedition to discover who is telling the truth. Dash warns Yearling of the plan, and she surmises that they are going to use her wings to recover an artifact that can only be recovered by a Pegasus, which was it Tenochtitlan, which is basically Aztec capital, is basically around Mexico City.
I mean, looking at it, did you really need wings though? I mean, just a well-placed lasso throw and you got it.
True.
Yeah, or a net gun,
Yeah.
and chunk and chunk.
Yeah.
Or even a unicorn.
Yeah, which it
No,
makes it odd
that
that I think all of his henchmen are all Earth ponies, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, they're all Earth ponies, but no, the thing is, there's some sort of magical dampener or something, because he mentioned, well, I knew that unicorn magic wouldn't solve this, but I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
think it
yeah, yeah.
Okay, but yeah,
so. It
uh,
had to have Pegasus for that. Or, they could have done what they ended up doing anyways and knock over a boulder, knock over a rock and, run across, jump up and grab it and run back.
That too.
yeah, there are many ways to solve the situation. Um, Caballeron tries his best to make a good impression on Fluttershy, but his outward concern for the environment. She helps the expedition with a packed lunch and by taming some wild jungle cats.
Ah, yes.
She's like,
That white fuzzball is the most dangerous one.
yeah.
Kitty rabbit, kitty cat.
Um, so Arizodal sent the jungle cats that Fluttershy sent off. He misses Caballeron's team entirely, but comes after Dash and Do. He's like, it can only be accessed by a Pegasus. And what do we have here? 2 Pegasi. So Daring Do is worried that Caballeron will just melt the pure gold talisman and sell it. Which it does have jewels in it, so it's not completely gold, but it is a lot of gold. It has the ability to force someone to tell the truth, which is an interesting thing to do. Like,
Yeah,
that
and
anytime where you can have something that absolutely forces somebody to tell the truth, that can really break a universe. Because then you just go, well, why don't we loan it out and we could, people we know are we think are criminals, we just put this on them and or we copy the magic in it and then we just put it on them and then, did you do it? Yes. All right.
yeah, I
Jail.
wonder if the one who made that also made the lasso of truth.
And you notice they're both gold.
Yeah.
Gold must have some sort of truth-telling ability or something.
Yeah, apparently
It can also get people to tell lies if you get to give
it's
the right
so
amount.
shiny. It's so shiny. It makes you want to tell all the truths, you know?
But you can also get people to lie if you give them enough of it.
That too.
Um,
Yeah.
anyway, so we check off the Indiana Jones style hat retrieval from the closing door as
Yeah,
Darren who gets in there. It's like, okay, check. um,
gotta have that in there.
Of course. Gotta have her hat.
so Caballero complained about Dew abusing spider webs, but the first thing
Yeah.
he does when he goes in there is casually push aside a spider web. It's like, yeah, you didn't care about that, did you? um,
No.
which, that's a nice first little, if you're paying attention, noting that he's not exactly telling the truth.
I think the first one was him shouting at his henchmen.
Yeah, but like where you could argue that one where it's just like he's yelling at him to keep him from eating it. And it's like, okay, if somebody was trying, if somebody was about to eat something poisonous, you wouldn't quietly tell them, no, don't do that. You'd yell at them, stop, fool, you don't do that.
No,
Depends on
no,
if you like the
stop.
person. I would probably just sit there and laugh.
Well, if you
Or,
cared about them.
or might have been the one to give it to them in the first place.
Again, if you cared about them.
It's like I care, just not in the way you think.
Love and
I
hate
care
being
about you,
being two
Rocky.
sides of a coin.
Yeah, exactly.
I care about you no longer existing.
um, but yeah, you could easily brush that off as he was about to kill himself and he was yelling at him to keep him from doing that. So again, Fluttershy gets the talisman for him, but needs saving by their group effort from the lava fountain. It's just like, yeah,
There always has to be lava.
of course, or a
Well, I
boulder,
mean,
or
Van
both.
Papa it.
Which is interesting because knowing Dash, she could probably, if she had been trying to get it, they probably wouldn't have had to do anything because by the time the trap reacted and the lava started flowing, she'd already be on the other side of the room.
Yep.
Uh, uh, anyway, now that he has the talisman around his neck, uh, Cab has to tell the truth and reveals his initial motives were not so pure. But he's grown accustomed to her face. Um, and he's really started to like Fluttershy and appreciate her, and so he's like, all
Dude,
right.
Really wants to make Discord jealous.
But yeah, he was not going to give it to a museum. Yeah, he was just going to use her, but he grew to like her.
Triple X. Fluttershy adores.
So just don't ever, Caballero, if you value your life, don't ever tell this story around Discord. You put
Yes.
Fluttershy in danger? How about we enjoy a little bit of payback?
To the moon.
Anyway, so
Not only put Fluttershy in danger, but you made her like you. I'm the reformed villain she's supposed to like.
anyway, we get Aoizolo coming back, and he sets the guardian gwills on the two parties before sealing off the chamber. And they can't be reasoned with because they're just magic and stone. So they use a stolen gem that Daring Deuce suspected he had, but didn't know for certain. But Cab had to admit to it because he was wearing the talisman, and that and a flashlight to create massive amounts of bright light, enough bright light to seal away the guardian goils.
Well, I mean, that is a nice life hack that I've used myself.
Sealing away
Although,
guardian goils with a magic The magic gem and flashlight.
No, I do use a either a crystal or a bottle of water as an amplifier for my torch, though.
Yeah, if you have especially if you have one of those big gallon jugs of milk, you can fill that up with water and tape a flashlight to it, and it's a great lantern.
Yeah,
It's
or
that on
just
steroids.
a gallon of water. They do sell those.
Yeah, but if you already have the gallon of milk, you don't
I
have to buy a
don't milk.
what?
I drink almond milk. It comes in paper boxes.
Oh, yeah, all our stuff. Wow, I just drink whole milk, and so I just
I
normal
can't.
cow milk, and so I always have a few on, if like they're good to have for like storing grease or you know any number of things that you just
Water emergencies.
water emergency, yeah, where you don't have to you know do anything, and you can just strap a flashlight to it and it'll shine through the thing, and because it's also kind of that the texture to it, it also kind of that adds to it sort of scattering capabilities.
Yeah,
Anyway,
the light diffusion.
yeah. It's anyway. Um. Anyway, working together, they push open a door and surprise Aoizotl, who was filing his nails on the other side. And then they have the whole fight over the talisman, in which we get
Moral
the
story hammered into your head once again.
yeah. Well, also the admission of Rainbow Dash that she's going to need the deluxe spa treatment after this. This doesn't leave the temple. It's
Yeah.
like, yep, she enjoys spa, but she's not going to. It's too girly, so she's not going to allow others to think that she does.
Yeah, but you see, the problem with that is it makes it so you can't lie.
Mhm.
Yes, but
Yeah,
you
that's
don't
the.
have to announce shit.
Well, it
But
also seemed to compel things because like he tried not to. Cabalon tried not to answer to a certain extent,
yeah, but I
and
mean that's the thing. If you're asked a question, have being forced
yeah,
to answer it,
I suppose
and
that could be
then
how it works, but
forth, forth bringing forth not information that is not otherwise requested is a
yeah,
totally different thing.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, so they hide in a dead end spot too small for Zodal to get to. One of his henchmen reveals he wants to sing opera, which is the same sort of thing. Like, I'm going to quit being a henchman and start doing opera. Or at least that's what it sounded like he said. Um,
Yeah, he said something about the opera.
yeah. Uh, Fluttershy heads out to out of their hiding spot to confront Aoizotl. And Aoizotl is the guardian of the treasure, which is a major retcon, given that his previous works were to destroy the world and uh, bring about 1,000 years of scorching heat.
Well,
Um,
maybe he was just pissed off with his current job.
I can
It's
see
like,
that.
all right, guys, I am sick and tired of y'all stealing my shit. And the other guys are teasing me about a bunch of little
Yeah, I would have found it funny if Jerry Joe actually
I
brought that up. It's like, hey, what about you trying to cook us?
I mean that can be just like, dude, you know how many times you stole my shit? I'm just watching you like the bugs you are. I mean, think about how many times, say you have a skunk in the backyard or a raccoon or whatever, a roaches in your kitchen. You want to get rid of them. And
What's
so
your
instead of getting
Fluttershy?
ones that are pestering you, you call an exterminator. That's basically what he was doing. He was calling an exterminator himself
But
to
anyway,
exterminate. See,
uh,
no,
but under Truth Amulet, Daring Do reveals her motives were pure, and Caballeron reveals his weren't. Aizul lets them go on the promise that they won't take from his area again. Not that they won't ever take anything, but they just won't take anything from him.
yeah.
Caballeron finally figures out Yearling and Daring Do are one and the same. Which
She is.
how you managed to do that? I think even his I saw an image like, yeah, but your henchmen knew. Did they just not bother telling you?
Yeah. He didn't pay them for that service.
Wait, he pays them?
Apparently. At least enough to keep them coming back. Or at least he promises to pay them. Or give them enough to keep them going. Um,
It's like, so tell me, sir, why are you a henchman? Well, truth be told, the dental plan's not that bad.
yeah.
Pet Pony, thank you very much.
Yes. I prefer nefarious professional for hire.
Yeah.
I go for Merc with a mouth. Except in that one Wolverine movie where they sewed it shut.
But yeah, I think that would be the if they wanted to sound professional, it's like nefarious professional for hire. It's like you're a henchman. Yeah, but henchman doesn't. It's not that prestigious. This gets it across while also being. I mean, you do have companies that are evil companies in comics. You know, it's like LexCorp. It's like, hey, yeah, I work at. Why do you work at Lex Luthor? He's a villain. Yeah, but the benefits are really nice. You know, 401k is fantastic. He really
Yeah.
knows how to treat his
And
employees. You do get people occasionally killed because of his fight with Superman, and sometimes lab equipment does run amok, and so there's some danger in there. But if you're willing to deal with that, I mean, the pay, benefits, insurance, it's all good. It's all really good.
exactly.
When I was just a lad, looking for my true vocation, my father said, "Now, son, this choice deserves deliberation. Though you could be a doctor or perhaps a financier, my boy, why not consider a more challenging career?"
But anyway,
Who
so
doesn't love puppets?
we wrapped it up with Daring Do and Caballero collabing on a book, but are upstaged by Aoi Zoro.
Yeah, I thought they have a job to do.
Yeah, you're supposed to be guarding the place. Why are you up in?
Well,
He retired.
well, no, I mean, I guess you have to consider the only two who still from the jungle are also there, so.
Yeah, he knows that they're having a signing across the street, so it's like really the only people that are going to do that are going to do, or he used the forward from the book, uh, the advance from the book, and paid people to go watch the jungle for him while he went on a tour, book tour. But
Or he's just like, I am done with this shit. He realized he would get more prestige and more popularity and just be a happier person, creature, whatever. If instead of protecting those artifacts and spending his life dealing with usurpers and thieves, if he just became a writer,
Yeah.
he retired. And what self-respecting monster doesn't want to write his autobiography when he retires?
Anyway, that's the overall. That's the last of my notes. So
Uh, it was a good tie up loose ends episode.
it
Yeah.
does kind of do that. It does kind of wrap up during Deuce end of the
You
end
gotta
of
you
the
gotta
thing.
make all the villains good in MLP now.
Or kill them.
Yeah, they're basically at this point they're just sort of all right. Who's on our checklist of ponies or creatures we need to visit and resolve? Okay, we need another episode of Cheese Sandwich. That was definitely something we need. We needed to deal with Daring Do and getting that resolved. And it's like, you really could have done something else, but it was okay.
It was a nice little tie-up. It was nothing snazzy or fancy, but that's not really what we needed for that.
Yeah.
Yep. And now we're down to we have
Story.
two normal episodes or seemingly normal episodes from what they look like. From the titles, it seemed like they're normal episodes, and then
A
the
three-parter.
the finale, and then the 2-part finale, and then the last episode.
Alexa, stop. Yeah.
Did I accidentally set off Alexa or something? Oh, sorry.
No, I wake up at 9, 7, 9 alarm, 9 o'clock alarm set every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is it going off at 11 then?
I'm gonna slap you if you keep making that time zone joke.
But we're from the future.
The future.
That reminds me of that dumb tweet where, or it was maybe a Facebook post. It's like, if China is however many hours ahead, why didn't they warn us about 9/11? Uh,
This is
I
not
know
how time zones work.
I know that was like a joke, but I swear some people probably took that seriously.
Yes.
no, that was one of those genuine stupid people.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Just to
Were
let
they
people
blonde?
know, I don't actually think we're 2 hours in the future from Madrock. Just 2 hours ahead on the clocks.
uh,
He may be slow, but I don't think he's that far behind.
yeah, time zones are amazing. In some places in the world, it's like 8 o'clock. In other places, it's still the 1950s.
That's called
Oh.
America.
Well, and well, see, the thing is, China, which would have like an unreal number of time zones if it were like properly time zoned out, like the actual like the mainland China, they only have one time zone, like Beijing time. That's you go from one side of China to the other. Time is always the same.
Although, I swear Texas is so big it probably has more than one time zone.
It does.
It does, it's too.
Yeah, we're vast majority Central Time Zone, but there's a little snippet I think out near El Paso that goes into Mountain Time. So we actually do go into 2 time zones.
Technically,
we're not also on the other side of it, but we're also not touching the border of the Eastern Time Zone. So I think that
technically, even smaller ones have multiple time zones because I think it's Indiana maybe that has two time zones.
Yeah, it just depends
Eastern
on
and
location. Yeah,
yeah,
if you're in
Ohio I think does too.
if you're in the right
Because
area, you can.
they're border states.
Yeah, if you're on the line, you can do that. And then, good grief, Arizona's a mess. But
Yes, like half of Arizona doesn't do daylight savings time, so one part of the year they're at the same time as mountain time, another part of the year they're not because oh my gosh,
Well,
they don't observe daylight savings time, and only
half
one
of
sun.
Arizona is smart because daylight saving time is pointless.
Well,
anyway,
that's
before we
the
get too
thing.
far off on this tangent, we should probably just wrap up the episode to say, yeah, it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't anything super fantastic. There were some really funny bits, and it was a nice wrap up. So, any last words on this before I wrap it up?
Extra
Well,
words.